Hey there hunters, Lord here, back with another Sunbreak set video. Actually, today's video is going to be slightly different from my usual set videos. Usually I'll give you guys a single set with no augments and then tell you to go ham with your own augments after you build that base set. However, in today's video, I decided to do things a little bit differently, and instead of me just giving you a set, I'm going to talk to you guys about how to build elemental bowguns in Sunbreak, especially Title Update 4, and give some tips on how to better play elemental bowgun, as this is a guide mostly aimed at people new to heavy bowgun, light bowgun, or elemental gunning. But with Title Update 4 being new as it is, I think everyone will be able to get something out of this video. So let's go ahead and jump straight into our bowguns of choice. I'll break this down by element, and remember, you'll want piercing element ammo about 99% of the time, so these bowguns will be based on that ammo type. We're going to start off with ice element. Your heavy bowgun of choice is going to be either Kushala or Lunagaron, as both are good but have different support ammos, as Kushala has para and stickies and Lunagaron has sleep ammo, so the choice is really up to you. Lunagaron is slightly higher damage, but Kushala will make hunts easier with para and KOs, so again, it's up to you. For single fire light bowgun, we use the Kushala light bowgun, and for rapid fire, we use Lunagaron. Now, single shot is technically higher damage for light bowgun, but it can lead to ammo issues, so you go ahead and go with whichever you prefer, and just be aware that with the HP that monsters have these days, you'll probably have to restock anyway. Moving on to fire, starting with the heavy bowgun, we use Orange Bishatin. Now, the Flaming Espinas heavy bowgun isn't a bad shout either, but Orange Bishatin is definitely best here. For single fire light bowgun, regular Rathalos is the light bowgun of choice, and for rapid fire, Silver Rathalos. Pretty easy to remember. Next is Thunder. For heavy bowgun, we use Narwhal. For single shot light bowgun, we use Kezu, although you won't have moving while shooting, so I would recommend going with the rapid fire option, which is the Astalos light bowgun. Now finally, we have Water. The heavy bowgun and rapid fire light bowgun is from Daimyo Hermitor, and the single shot light bowgun comes from Almudron. Now, Dragon isn't really viable outside of speedrunning, but if you're interested in trying out some Dragon ammo meme sets, my buddy Elixir has some insane speedruns using only Dragon ammo, so I'll be sure to link his channel and some of those runs down below in the description. Now, for all of your elemental bowguns, you're going to want to augment for attack only, unless you need to get to a level 3 rampage slot for your Elembane Rampage deco, then you can augment for that too. Pure raw is always more beneficial than crit in Sunbreak elemental gunning. The first real tip I'll give you is to be sure you're aware of your target monster's hit zones, as sometimes hitting a higher elementally weak zone with a poor shot zone is better than shooting at a high shot weak zone with a low element value. You'll of course learn the matchups as you play more, but knowledge is power. Now, moving on to skills that we want. Your main priority is always going to be getting low recoil and fastest reload, so be sure to remember to change that for each gun that you use. After that, we have some crazy new skill combinations that shook up the meta in Title Update 4. The most notable addition is of course Dragon Conversion, which takes all your elemental resistances and, when you're on red scroll, drops them to 0. It then gives you 8% of the resistance lost back as elemental attack. This is good in and of itself, but this really opened up the avenue for combining with other skills such as Furious. At level 3 of Furious, you get plus 20 to all elements, which is plus 100 element resistance for Dragon Conversion to work with. You'll likely have to get this in your Curious rolls, since it's only a B tier skill, it's not entirely too rare. We can also try to couple this with Dereliction, so rocking the head, chest, and waist of Risen Valstrax with the arms and legs of Archfiend can net us some really insane elemental damage. If you're looking for an example set, there's going to be a video linked in the top right now and down in the description where I run against Aurora Ludroth with an example of this set. We can also check out Strife, which is augmentable now at B tier, which means we're not stuck with the Nephilim armor. So mixing in some levels of that with your Curious armors or armor pieces, if you don't like Dereliction, could be pretty strong as well, if you mixed it with Bloodlust and Coalescence, as those are also still big players in the meta. Now, Bloodlust is an A tier augment, so it may be slightly harder to get your hands on than Furious or Strife will be, so you'll want to keep that in mind. Attack Boost and Resentment are still very strong, and you should really be trying to get these in as high a level as possible in your sets. You'll also, of course, always want to go for level 3 to Element Exploit, as a 15% elemental boost on hit zones of 20 or higher is an insane damage boost as well. Now for elemental ammos, if you need more in your clip, Ammo up 2 is required for elemental ammos and elemental piercing ammos, so if you can fit that in, I definitely would recommend that. I think spare shot is a great skill. I run spare shot instead of ammo up most of the time because you have a 25% chance to not consume ammo when shooting, so that can really help keep your ammo reserves up in these longer afflicted hunts. Here's an example set. The skills in red boxes are ones you should definitely shoot for, and the other ones are still really good skills to try and get in your gunner sets. Now guys, if you're enjoying the video so far, or if you feel like you learned something new, be sure to hit that like button down below, and subscribe for more Monster Hunter content just like this. Now let's move into switch skills. You can really just stick with what you prefer, but here's some of my tips. For light bowgun, the main ones you'll want to keep for sure are Marksman and normal reload. Critical firepower requires a lot more recoil skills and or a silencer, and it just really isn't worth it for day-to-day farming. It's okay for certain speedruns, but I'm sure most of you aren't here for that. Then elemental reload instead of reload, I just think it's too slow and it doesn't give a big enough boost to really make it worth it either. Now of course, if you really want to, you can go for these. I'm not telling you what to do, it's a game, play how you like, but I just can't recommend critical firepower or elemental reload. Now my personal favorites otherwise are Wyvern Counter or Fanning Maneuver. I put one on red and one on blue scroll, and Silkbind Glide is my favorite for the 5th slot as it helps close the gap to monsters even quicker. Now for heavy bowgun, you'll for sure need Setting Sun. You have to have this, don't put anything else in if you don't have this, as this slows down your ammo and allows you to get more piercing ticks, which means more damage, which means faster kill times. After that, you can feel free to rock either crouching or charge shot, neither is a bad choice. And be sure to have Tackle as a skill, as it's great for hyper armoring through attacks and roars, and the melee skill is completely useless. Up next, be sure to bring stuff to recraft your ammos, so you'll have your element plant of choice, and piercing 1 ammo is what you need. You can have up to 120 ammo in the field, 60 and then 60 more as craftables. So make sure you set up your crafting wheel so that you don't overcraft and waste ammo. Piercing, fire, ice, and water ammos are all crafted in batches of 3 at a time. So if you craft while you're at 59 shots, you'll only go up to 60 because that's the max you can hold, and you'll just lose the other 2, which is a waste of your crafting materials, and you're losing 2 shots that you could have later on. And thunder ammo is crafted 6 at a time, so you'll want to make sure that you have that probably set to single craft. I do usually have my fire, ice, and water ammos set to craft all, and then the instant I shoot my last shot, or if I have 3 shots left or 6 shots left, something that I know is divisible by 3, I will then use my craft all, so that way I don't waste any ammo. You'll also want to make sure to bring and use your status ammos. That's a big reason why some of these bowguns are in the list and some weren't. Like the orange Bishatin heavy bowgun has all stickies, it has sleep and para, which means you can do all of those things, get a KO, get a para, get a sleep during a hunt, which can really help out your teammates dealing damage and can help you deal damage. So that's about all I have for this one, guys. If you have any further questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section down below. Don't forget that if you did enjoy the video or learn something new, feel free to hit that like button, as it's a totally free way to help support the channel. If you're new to my channel, or if you're new to Monster Hunter, or if you find yourself returning to my videos on the regular, why don't you go ahead and subscribe for more Monster Hunter content just like this. You can always change your mind later on if you find that the content just isn't for you. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I wish you all a good day and happy hunting.